Conservative new media viewers, LA Lakers fans around the world, and JLin fans around the world. What's up? It's me, PFA, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss in the long video format the Lakers' 112-106 loss tonight to the Phoenix Suns in Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. With the defeat, the Lakers dropped to 0-5 on the season. Suns improved to 3-1. We made a short video about this, so if you want to watch that instead of this long video, you can just go to our channel and find it. That's the last video that will be up before this video that you're watching presently. Okay, there's a number of things to discuss about in this game. I might not do a full quarter by quarter, just because there's a whole bunch of little issues to go over. Let me just quickly go over the stats before I get into some other things. For the Suns, Markieff Morris, 23 points, 10 boards. Goran Dragic, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Isaiah Thomas came off the bench, 22 points, 3 boards, 9 assists. Gerald Green off the bench, 26 points, 3 rebounds. The Suns bench crushed the Lakers bench, just decimated them. That was a big reason why the Lakers lost this game. For the Lakers, Kobe Bryant, 39 points, 9 boards, 1 assist, although he did take 37 shots to get the 39 points. JLin, 18 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. Jordan Hill, 15 points, 15 rebounds. Nice game from him. Carlos Boozer, 13 points, 6 assists. Now, there are two issues going on that are freaking out JLin fans right now. And one of them I wasn't aware of at all during the game because it wasn't on Twitter. And the other one is a somewhat obvious one that I'll discuss in a second. Let's go over the first one. Somebody said on Twitter that supposedly Kobe Bryant told JLin to go back into the game in the fourth quarter, with the context supposedly being that JLin wasn't feeling well or something, or sick, or for some reason. His health wasn't good, and Kobe's like, get in the game. I haven't seen anything to verify that from any LA media or anything. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just telling you that I haven't seen anything that supports that. What I did see is that apparently JLin was taking Advil during the game, and someone else said that Jeremy left the bench to go back to the locker room. I didn't hear anything about this. And the announcers on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, as far as I know, didn't say anything about it. Nobody said Jeremy's sick, Jeremy's hurt. I didn't hear anything. So I don't know what this is. This goes to, actually, there's 3 things Lin fans are mad about. That's number 1. What is this? Did something happen between Jeremy and Kobe? Number 2 is, why did JLin play so few minutes in this game? Why didn't he play more minutes? Why did Ronnie Price play relatively a considerable amount of minutes? And number 3 is, why did Kobe shoot 37 times and the rest of the Lakers starters shoot 35 times? And so these are 3 things that are on the minds of JLin fans. The first one, I said, I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I don't even know why JLin was taking Advil. Advil, if you don't know, is just a painkiller. It's just something you usually take, like if you have a headache or a sinus infection or you're have the flu, something like this. I have no idea. Number 2, on the minutes thing, if Jeremy was sick, then it makes sense that he would play fewer minutes. Again, I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know. We're just going to have to see what happens. One thing I did notice during the game was that the Lakers trainer, Gary Vitti, Vitti, was going over and talking to Jeremy whenever Jeremy came out of the game. The only reason the trainer's talking to you in most situations is if you're hurt or you're ill. Now, somebody speculated that maybe Jeremy suffered like a concussion or something when Eric Bledsoe shoved him hard on the foul in the first quarter. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I'd have to look at the play again. So I have no idea what happened with this. Although the only thing that I saw personally while I watched the game was that Gary Vitti kept going over to him. So I figured something was going on with him. I just didn't know what it was. That would be my guess as to why he played fewer minutes. However, when I watched the game, the initial reason why I thought Jeremy played fewer minutes was because Kobe was dominating the ball, whether you support that or not. And so if Kobe's going to dominate the ball, you don't need JLin, so to speak, because Kobe's going to bring the ball up and shoot and orchestrate the offense. Then maybe you bring in Ronnie and let him kind of cover Kobe on defense and etc. And we saw this in Houston. Patrick Beverley, you play him with James Harden. Harden shoot. And Patrick Beverley helps out James Harden on defense. Kobe played like 44 minutes tonight, which will probably never happen for the rest of the regular season. The reason why it happened tonight is because the team has 4 days off after tonight's game. And so Byron Scott knew Kobe would have extra rest. So, okay, we want to win a game. Kobe wants to play. Let him play. That was my first thought about why Ronnie was playing more. So, in other words, if Kobe played fewer minutes, then I think Jeremy would have played more minutes. But now we have this whole thing about, well, maybe Jeremy was sick. And as I said, maybe Byron just liked the matchups. Just like, okay, play Ronnie, let Kobe run the show, and just let Ronnie help him out on defense or whatever. So that was my take. We'll find out more in the time to come. I'm sure we'll hear more. And if I were you guys, tweet to the Lakers reporters, hey, why was Jeremy taking Advil? Because one of them will ask what was going on, and then we can find out. I'm not scandalized by Jeremy playing fewer minutes. I thought he should have played more minutes because he played great, but maybe he was hurt or sick or whatever. So I don't think this is an ongoing thing. I don't think Byron's looking for a shift in the playing time, and I don't believe any of that. Jeremy played well tonight, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Now, Kobe shooting 37 times. First of all, as I said, Kobe will not play 44 minutes probably ever again in this regular season. The fewer minutes he plays, the fewer shots he's going to take. I think Kobe did have it in his mind tonight that he wanted to put up a lot of shots and put up a lot of points. But to be fair to Kobe, it was working pretty well in the fourth quarter when he was shooting over 50% and making some nice shots. This is what you get with Kobe Bryant. This is the good and the bad of Kobe. And anybody that's followed Kobe or the Lakers for any amount of time will tell you this. And the people that like Kobe and support Kobe will say, he's the best player. He should take all the shots, as many shots as he wants. And the people that don't like Kobe or don't think he's as good as people think he is will say, that's too many shots, etc., etc. I said on Twitter that I thought it was too many shots. And I made the comparison between how many points per shot Kobe scored, which means how many points you get divided by how many field goals you take. And that was about the same as when Michael Jordan was with the Washington Wizards when he was older. And the reason why the comparison with Jordan and the Wizards is made is because in that's kind of like the prototype example of someone that was considered a gunner or a chucker, which is to say they're just going to shoot, even if it's not efficient or it's not smart basketball. And so I wanted to put up the relationship between the statistics because I saw people, including LA media people, glorifying Kobe for this. And it should not be glorified. That is not sound basketball. Now, I'm not saying it didn't work at points tonight because it did. As I said, to be fair to Kobe, it did work in the fourth quarter for stretches. However, if you play that way, there is no way that your teammates can have any offensive rhythm. It's just not going to happen because you are dominating the ball too much, especially when you're doing it inefficiently. If you take 37 shots and you hit 25 of them, well, shoot as much as you want. But if you take 37 shots and hit 14 of them, you shouldn't shoot that much because that's like 38, 39%. That's just not good enough. And I did not – it's tough. This is the good and bad of Kobe Bryant. And it almost worked. It didn't work. And if you are a fan of a player who is a teammate of Kobe Bryant, you're going to get upset with this. And this is what I've talked about in the past, about it's Kobe's team and Kobe ball, etc. This is part of the package. This is what happens. And it's going to happen. And that's why I've tried to tell Lin fans, this is the best example you will ever see of what it looks like. So take a good look. Again, I like Kobe. I respect Kobe. Kobe tried hard. He wanted to win. But Kobe's concept of how to win doesn't always match up with established ideas of how to win, particularly as the NBA is developing into more of the kind of analytical movement and more advanced ways of thinking about how to play and how to succeed. But am I mad at Kobe? No. I know Kobe. This is what Kobe does. And as I said, to give him credit, it almost worked. It's just the biggest problem for it tonight was that Jeremy he had good rhythm tonight. I mean, Jeremy's points per shot tonight was over 2. I think he only took like 8 shots and he scored 18 points. If you have a teammate that's got it going, give them the ball. So that's what kind of upset me. Well, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not all just the same way that I'm not all crazy about the Byron Scott and the playing time. This is not unexpected, and I think it'll be resolved one way or the other. Again, Kobe's not going to play forever. Kobe's 36 years old, his 19th season. He doesn't have that much longer to play. So, if you don't like the way he plays or you're a teammate or whatever, just wait a little bit and he's not going to be around. So, that's what I would say. Okay, let me look. I just took a bunch of little notes, and there was things I wanted to say before this game, just like notes that I went over before today that I also wanted to include. Ryan Kelly, I guess one of his hamstrings tightened up during the game, which is not good news. He's coming back from 2 strained hamstrings, and apparently one of them tightened up again. Hopefully he'll be able to play in the next game. I really hope so, because Ryan can shoot. And the team really needs his shooting desperately to help with the spacing. So hopefully he'll be okay. Plus, just don't want the guy to be hurt. I mean, he's been out for a bit now. Okay, before this game took place, again, in the days leading up to this game, Kobe had nice comments on Jeremy, and Jeremy had good comments during practice. They basically, Kobe was supporting Jeremy, and I put up something on Twitter where Kobe was talking about in a recent ESPN interview how Jeremy can really play, and Lin's sanity and Jeremy's abilities aren't a fluke. So again, Kobe likes Jeremy. Kobe's a demanding teammate, so I mean that's part of the deal. But he likes Jeremy and he believes in Jeremy, so good. Jeremy, when asked by Serena Winters in an interview on, I think it was yesterday after practice, she asked him something to the effect of, "Are you frustrated? Are things more frustrating than you thought they would be?" Jeremy was basically like, "Yeah, they are. But I just got to keep working through it and work on being aggressive, etc." I love this. This is a process. You do not go from Houston PTSD and you're James Harden yelling at you on the court and McHale screwing you over, in my opinion, and Morey screwing you over, in my opinion, to full confidence in a couple games. It doesn't work like that. Jeremy's got to rebuild brick by brick. And he's doing that, and he took some good steps in this game tonight. It's going to take time. I really believe if Jeremy can get through this transition, if he can climb the mountain one more time, then that'll be it for him. There'll be no more nonsense about his ability and fluke and all this stuff. And then he'll just be ready to just have the rest of his career at the level that he can play at. He still has to do that, though. But he's starting to do it. It's just not going to happen instantly. That just doesn't work like that. That's not realistic. As much as some of us might want him to be able to do it or wave a magic wand, it doesn't work like that. You know, if you're somebody and you were in great shape and then you let yourself go and you gained 100 pounds, you're not going to lose 100 pounds in a day. You've got to do it a little bit at a time. That's what Jeremy has to do to rebuild his confidence and improve his game. And he's on his way. Good. The one thing that I was going to say about Jeremy, and I mentioned this in the last long video, if there was one thing that I would tell Jeremy to do, or two things, work on your ball handling in traffic and on drives, because as a point guard, you must be able to handle the ball well. That's if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to do anything else. That is fundamental. And work on the mental side of things. And I do think there's a relationship here. And we'll talk more about Jeremy and confidence and aggressiveness in a little bit as regards this Phoenix game. But Jeremy dribbled well tonight. He had like one play that wasn't so good, but it's not a big deal. He wasn't scared dribbling the ball tonight. And that's key, which is, again, now some opponents play better defense than others. Golden State has a better defense than Phoenix does. So maybe Jeremy's ball handling issues might show up against Golden State, but they won't show up against Phoenix. But I still thought Jeremy was more confident tonight and more assertive, and that's what he needs to do. As I'm convinced that a significant portion of this is mental. Dr. Hirsch on Twitter said Jeremy should work with a sports psychologist, which is something I said recently. Again, I don't care what Jeremy does, just work to resolve the issues so you can be what you're capable of being. Now, I'm just going to ignore that one. Somebody said on Twitter, hey, is Kobe using Jeremy for public relations or to improve his image? Yes, he is. That doesn't mean Kobe doesn't like Jeremy, because he does like him. But I've said it before, Kobe is very public relations savvy. If you notice, he has continually said about Jeremy that he wasn't used properly in other teams, which you know who he's talking about, and that other teammates didn't help him out. And you know who he's talking about. Kobe doesn't like James Harden, and Kobe doesn't like Dwight Howard. So if you are around Kobe, you're a teammate of Kobe, you're in Kobe's social circle, if he can use you to strike out at other people he doesn't like, he will do that. And honestly, it's pretty smart, because Kobe knows that a lot of people like Jeremy. And so if Kobe says that Harden didn't mentor him, well, then all of Jeremy's fans are going to say, yep, bad Harden. That's right. Kobe just affirmed what we knew. That's right. And that makes Kobe look good. So you have to understand this. This is what's known as using a proxy, using a person as an intermediary to strike out at somebody else. Kobe's good at that. Very good at it. Again, it doesn't mean Kobe doesn't like Jeremy, because he does like him. He's not just using him because, and he doesn't care about him. But Kobe's smart. Kobe's working to refine his image, because Kobe has this image of he's not a good teammate, and he doesn't mentor people, and people don't want to play with him, and people don't like him. So what does he do? He's mentoring JLin. He's talking about how other people that Kobe doesn't like didn't help out JLin, etc. Look, that's smart marketing. And this is what Kobe does, because Kobe's a master of PR. So, but is he doing it? Yes, he is doing it, in my opinion. But so what? It helps Jeremy, because if Kobe is saying Jeremy wasn't mentored before, well, that means Jeremy didn't get a fair chance. And if Kobe is saying that Jeremy is not a fluke, well then, all the Kobe fans have to shut up about if they don't like JLin. Well, so good. It helps both of them. And so it's mutually beneficial, and we'll take it. Now, Carlos Boozer, on yesterday, I believe, and this was, somebody mentioned this on Twitter to me, essentially said, quote, "Our guards can't be scared of guards in the West," unquote. So was Carlos Boozer taking a shot at Jeremy there? Yeah, he probably was, to be quite honest with you. Who else do you think he's talking about? Because, again, when Jeremy's not confident, he can look scared. But you have to understand where this is coming from, in my opinion. Carlos Boozer is being criticized for his defensive weaknesses. And one of the weaknesses he's being most criticized for is pick and roll defense. Well, pick and roll defense involves the guard. Well, it doesn't have to, but it often does. Involves a guard, and it involves a big man. Or at least in this situation it does, because Carlos is being criticized for not helping out the guards on this pick and roll defense. So if Carlos says something like, our guards can't be scared, then it could be kind of like a pushing back on the criticism of him and his defense. You understand what I'm saying here? In other words, well, everybody's criticizing me, but maybe our guards are scared. Maybe that's really the problem. So I didn't really take much exception to that. I thought it was kind of normal, and Carlos is feeling a little defensive because everybody's calling him out on his defense. And as I said, many people said this about Jeremy, which means there's probably something to it, which means keep working at it. And I thought tonight he did a good job of it, as I'll discuss in a little bit. Okay, let me see here. I just had one other quick note on this. Again, this is all the pre-game stuff before this game took place. Just saying, there are a number of people, as I've said before, who want Jeremy to fail. And that's a reality. Just the same way that there are a whole bunch of people that want LeBron to fail, or there's a whole bunch of people that want Kobe to fail. That's just part of being a celebrity. Some people like you and some people don't like you. And unfortunately, this includes many Lakers fans. As regards Jeremy, there are many Lakers fans, and you've probably seen some of them, who don't want Jeremy to succeed for whatever reason. The way that you get around that is don't listen to him. And this is why I think Jeremy no longer pays attention to social media and stuff during the season. Those people can only affect you if you allow them to affect you, if you listen to them. So just tune them out. And as I said, I really, truly believe if he can climb the mountain one more time, then this is all over. And he's on his way to doing it already. And tonight was a good step in that direction. Finally, on this pregame stuff, stay away from the trolls. Stay away from the fake Lin fans who are just trying to make Lin look bad and make Lin's fans look bad. And stay away from the Houston Rockets fans. They're out in full force. I've seen them on our videos. They're great. They're 5-0 or 4-0. They're awesome. They don't need Jeremy. Look, as we've talked about before with Houston, and look, good for Houston. I don't even care about Houston anymore. I really don't. Houston is a regular season team. Their offense and their system works well in the regular season. It just doesn't seem to work as well in the playoffs. And that's not a big surprise, given the kind of offense they play. So, if they want to be regular season champions, let them be regular season champions and just don't take the bait. Okay, let's get more into this game and what happened. Now, I've got quarter by quarter stuff, but I want to do just overview before I do that. And again, I might not do full quarter by quarter because we're already 30 minutes into this video. First of all, the Lakers definitely had a chance to win this game. The reasons why they didn't win this game, in my opinion, are, number one, their bench got totally outplayed by the Lakers bench. By the Suns bench. Number two, their defense isn't good enough. Some of that is going to take time. In fact, a lot of it's just going to take time. Some of it is because, and what I mean by take time is that they're going to have to learn how to communicate better with one another, learn when and where to make rotations and help out and cover for guys when they're beaten. That type of thing. That's like learning an offense. You have to work on it, and you need chemistry to do it. But the other thing about the defense is there are people on the team who have limitations. We've talked before, Jeremy's limitations, all that. Okay. Kobe Bryant has defensive limitations because of his age and because of his legs and where his legs are and the mileage on him. Carlos Boozer has limitations on his defensive abilities because he's older. He's been in the league a long time, and he's never the quickest guy to begin with. So there are going to be some chronic issues with this team's defense, in my opinion. But the more that they work together and practice on it, the better that the team synergy will improve, which means that the more that the team defense can help out weakness in individual players' defense. It's just going to take time, the same way that the offense is going to take time to come together. Kobe mentioned after the game that the team really has to work on transition defense, and he's right. They do need to work on that. Tonight they gave up 21 points in fast break opportunities or fast break conversions to the Suns, that's a lot. To give credit to the Suns, they're a very difficult team to defend. their execution on offense is better than many teams can imitate. If you notice late in the game, the three-pointer that really sealed the game for Phoenix, that came off of like 3 passes. There was a pass out to the top of the key, I believe, or maybe not. Maybe it's just the ball dribbled up to the top of the key. 1 pass and then a second pass. And then that man took the shot from the right-handed corner and hit a three-pointer. What that means is, there were 3 passes, actually. What that means, when you have to defend 3 passes, that means that the 3 guys involved in the play who have to rotate and cover those offensive players have to do their job right. And so if you have a team that's new with one another and they're kind of struggling with that issue, then a team like the Suns is going to expose that. And that's what happened tonight. I thought the Suns, they understood that if they made the extra pass, the Lakers' defense would fold. And that happened a lot. They also understood if you attack the Lakers with pick-and-roll offense, they're not good at defending it. And I think that they really took advantage, did the Suns, of a lot of Lakers pick-and-roll defensive mistakes in this game. So the Suns came in, they knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they did it. And the Lakers still had a chance to win. They didn't win. You have a bunch of new players on a team that doesn't have a high level of talent compared to some teams. It's not all clicking yet, and they're not talented enough individually to overcome that. And that's what happened in this game. Phoenix looks good. They look better than I think a lot of people thought they were going to look. They've already beaten the San Antonio Spurs this season, defending NBA champions. And the development, and this was mentioned during the Time Warner Cable Sportsnet broadcast of the game, development of Alex Len, the backup center, is really helping them on defense. So they're a very dangerous team. They like to get out and run. They play with that 3-guard lineup at times. Eric Bledsoe, Isaiah Thomas, and Goran Dragic. Dragic. Somebody told me to say it correctly, and they're right. Dragic is not right. It's Dragic, or something along those lines. It ends with a ch, not a g. So those guys, they did a good job, and I think they're going to be a very formidable team this year. So this is part of playing in the Western Conference. There's a whole bunch of really good teams. So all those things added up, and the Lakers just were not able to overcome them. However, for the JLin fans, Jeremy played extremely well in this game for almost the entire game. The only time when he faltered was in the very end of the game. And unfortunately, he struggled a little bit on like 3 plays or so then. What happened to him later in the game, and I'll talk about this more in a bit, he was trying to defer to Kobe a little too much on 2 plays. And then on the 3rd play, he just hurried the shot on that little isolation one-on-one play against Eric Bledsoe. And that's why we talk about Jeremy working on his one-on-one offensive moves, because in a situation like that, that's where you need it. Now, he can execute that move better than he did. He just didn't execute it well. But until that period of time, that last 3 or 5 minutes of the 4th quarter, I thought Jeremy might have been the best player for the Lakers tonight. He was good on his defensive rotations. He was smart with the basketball almost entirely for the whole game. He was hitting shots, and I thought that he executed the offense and the defense as well as anybody on the team. He played very good defense tonight. Now, I know Isaiah Thomas scored a lot of points. A lot of Isaiah's points came when Jeremy wasn't in the game. They came on Isaiah Thomas like cherry picking or sneaking out or breaking away against the Lakers when he wasn't being defended by anybody, basically. And there was some other thing with Isaiah, but he got a number of those little plays. And he also took a lot of shots. So there's a debate among Lakers fans, some of them, hey, we should have gotten Isaiah Thomas. Look, Isaiah is a good player. He is. And Isaiah, the reason why there's a debate was because Isaiah basically came out and said, yeah, I wanted to play with the Lakers. But they didn't try to get him. So why did you get Lin and not Isaiah Thomas? We should have gotten Isaiah Thomas. Look, Isaiah is a terrific offensive player, but there's been questions about him in the past. Questions about his size, because he's not that tall. Questions about his ability on defense. And questions about his attitude. Also, the Lakers, when they acquired JLin, they also got a draft pick. A first-round draft pick, which is pretty good. So, I understand how Lakers fans feel, but I don't think it's as clear as what a lot of people think it is. It's not like Isaiah Thomas is this overwhelming, incredible super player, and Jeremy sucks. And when you throw in the first-round draft pick as well, it becomes a lot more cloudy. So that's just my own thoughts on that. Okay, I'm just going to skim through quarter by quarter here. I'm not going to go through every single thing. I'm just going to look for stuff that particularly stood out to me. Now, right before the game began, on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, Mike Trudell, who's the sideline reporter for the Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, said that the Lakers were working on the Jordan Hill equation and Jordan Hill and Carlos Boozer and the spacing of the offense. If you've been following the day-to-day practice videos from Coach Scott and Jeremy and others, there's been a lot of talk about all of this, spacing. And what has been said is that Jordan Hill and Carlos Boozer are what is known as pick and pop players, more so than pick and roll players. What that means is when Boozer and Hill come up and set a screen, like they set a screen for Jeremy, they like to stay on the outside, receive the ball, and shoot a jump shot, rather than go to the basket, receive the pass, and shoot a layup, or try to dunk it. An example of somebody who is a pick and roll type of player is Ed Davis. And this is where Jeremy's finding Ed Davis for dunks and layups. Jordan Hill and Carlos Boozer are more the opposite of that. They don't want to go to the basket. They want to stand on the outside and shoot a jump shot. What happens when you have two players like that, and they're both big men, the spacing of the offense, the openings of the offense, they're altered. So the driving lanes, the areas where somebody like Jeremy is going to drive to the basket, they get more congested. They get more clogged. And also, Jeremy doesn't have guys to pass to around the rim, like Tyson Chandler or like Ed Davis. And so Jeremy's having to adjust to this. And the Lakers are having to adjust to this. And this is the reason why, and we talked about this before, Jeremy works best with big men that are pick and roll type of guys. That's where he is at his best. And if the big man goes to the rim, so if Ed Davis comes up and sets a pick on Jeremy's man, and then Ed Davis goes to the rim and he does the roll, then Jeremy has more room to drive to the basket. He can get a running start. Whereas because Ed Davis's defender has to follow Ed Davis. And if they don't follow Ed Davis, then Jeremy's going to put up a lob for a dunk. But when the defender doesn't have to go towards the rim, when the defender knows that the man that he's guarding wants to shoot a jump shot, like Carlos Boozer, what that means is that Boozer's defender can help out on Jeremy. He can double team the pick and they can double team Jeremy coming off the pick and roll, which means Jeremy can't drive as easily. So you have to understand all this. This changes things quite substantially. And this is why it's not as simple as, well, Jeremy sucks now. No, he's adjusting to all this. The team's trying to figure out, how do we put our players in the best position? They're trying to figure that out for Jeremy. They want Jeremy to go to the basket. They want guys like Ed Davis that want to pick and roll. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a pick and pop guy, because that's great. But if you have two guys like that, then the offense can be it might not work best for the personnel that you currently have. And so they're trying to get all of this together. And Ryan Kelly coming back helps, because he can help the spacing, because he can shoot three-pointers, which means his man has to go way out to guard him. Carlos Boozer and Jordan Hill don't shoot three-pointers. So the defense can kind of pack in more, and that makes it harder for Jeremy. So when you see all this stuff and Jeremy looks scared and he's timid, well, he's trying to figure all this out. And he's the guy that has to understand it, because he's the point guard. He has to run the show. So you're playing with a very dominant player in Kobe, and now you're trying to figure out how to play with two pick and pop guys. This is affecting everything. And so as the Lakers they get Ryan Kelly back, they get Nick Young back, which will give more space, because the defenders have to go further out to guard them, because they're both three-point shooters. There'll be more room. Eventually, if Jeremy's on the team and the Lakers make some changes, well, then maybe they get another pick-and-roll big man, and that helps Jeremy more. But it's going to take time. And these are the little aspects of the game that a lot of people don't understand. And that the simple analysis misses it. Certain guys play best in certain systems and with certain teammates, and certain guys with certain skills. And Jeremy is included in that, particularly now as he's working to build up his full range of skills. He's still developing as a player. And so this is what is being talked about. This is why they're talking about spacing. This is why Jeremy's saying he's got to learn how to play with this personnel, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm just gonna pick out specific things in the quarter by quarter that stood out to me and that I want to comment on. One of the things I said in the middle of the first quarter was that Jeremy is definitely trying to be more confident and assertive tonight. So we talked about he wasn't assertive enough in the last game, didn't look right, could have looked better, etc. Well, he definitely came out tonight in his head like, I'm going to do better on this tonight. And he did do better on it. For the vast majority of this game, he looked good, he looked confident, and he looked more sure of what he wanted to do. And for a point guard, when you're adjusting to a new system, it might look worse than for any other position. Because again, everything starts with you. Now, for the Lakers, it can also start with Kobe because he can handle the ball and play point guard. But this transition is making Jeremy look more indecisive than what he really is. And once he gets more comfortable with things, and once the team and the teammates are more comfortable, then that will naturally make him look more assertive and more confident. This type of thing. Now, middle of the first quarter, this is when Jeremy, who had already been fouled by Eric Bledsoe, drove on the right-hand side of the lane and was again fouled by Eric Bledsoe and fouled pretty hard. And this is the thing where maybe he had a concussion, or I don't know. I have to see the play again. But on the play, Bledsoe, in my opinion, took a cheap shot at Jeremy at the end of the play. Trying to be a little bully. This is a type of thing. Look, Jeremy got the better of Bledsoe. He clearly outplayed him tonight. So it wasn't even close. And on that play, that was Bledsoe's second foul, and Bledsoe had to go sit because you don't want to get any more fouls in the first quarter. If you get 2 fouls in the first quarter and you're an important player, you're almost certainly going to go to the bench so you don't get any more fouls. However, I think some people believe, and I got to say that I felt it in this game tonight, Jeremy's got to watch plays like that. He's got to get his respect. And again, we've talked about this, and this always comes up with Jeremy. Guys like to pick on Jeremy. And if you're Jeremy, you need to kind of, in my opinion, you need to correct that. And so when I see Eric Bledsoe hitting Jeremy like that, which was, again, in my opinion, was clearly a cheap shot, you need to hit Eric Bledsoe like that, to put it bluntly. In other words, you need to let Eric Bledsoe know he's not hitting you like that. And again, you can't be a goon. You don't do something stupid. The game is much different than what it used to be. In the past, you can do that. Like in the 80s, 90s, you could get away with that. Now you can't. You'll get a flagrant foul and all this stuff. But whenever I played, I was often on the teams that I played on, I was what was known as the enforcer, which was if somebody messes with somebody on the team, I'm going to get them. Right? I'm going to lay them out. I'm going to put them down. You know, they're going up for a shot. I'm going to lay them out. Not dirty. You don't want to hurt somebody, but you're not going to keep doing that. Usually on teams, although this is different now, then again, it's different than what it used to be. Usually on teams, there are guys that will do that. To give you a great example of this, about 3 years ago, in a game between the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers, Lance Stevenson was on the sidelines, and LeBron James missed a free throw, I think. And when he missed it, Lance Stevenson did the little choke sign, the hands on the throat, like LeBron choked. Well, I think later on in that game, or in the next game, one of the big men for the Miami Heat laid out Lance Stevenson. I mean, it hit him pretty hard, probably harder than he should have, actually. Again, you have to be careful with this. Again, Jeremy's not a goon, and there really isn't an enforcer on the Lakers team. They don't have a player like that. The player that's probably most like that is Kobe, but Kobe's not a big guy. But I will tell you this. You can't do that to Kobe because Kobe will get you if you do that. And so this is the type of I think this is the type of thing that I think Jeremy's going to have to continue to develop. Again, we don't want to turn him into thug number one. But if you have guys that keep trying to go at you, whether they're trying to make you look bad, they think you suck, and they're going to try to embarrass you, they're going to try to take cheap shots at you, you got to take care of your business. Put it simply. You need to let people know they're not going to do that to you. So you got to get in their face on defense so that they don't think that you can they can score on you anytime they want. If they take shots at you, you need to take shots at them. That's my advice. If people think they can punk you out, and they want to punk you out, then they're going to punk you out. What Eric Bledsoe did was junk. And if I was on the Lakers team, Eric Bledsoe would be getting laid out. That's the easiest way I can put it. Somebody's got to take care of that. Because you can't have you guys getting hit like that. You just can't. And believe me, this comes up all the time in various sports. This happens all the time. Guys will see what they can get away with. And you got to put them back in check. So, again, like I said, Jeremy's always dealt with this. I'm sure he's dealt with this his entire basketball career, going back to high school and everything. He's the weak, meek, Asian guy, Harvard guy, and we're going to punk him out. Well, it's got to deal with it. Like I said, you got to put the... there's just a time where you just got to deal with it. And like, as I mentioned before, there's somebody on the team, and it's usually a player that doesn't play much, who's pretty big, who will handle those things. So if I was the Lakers, and if I was Jeremy, then if it keeps happening, then you need to deal with it. Because you can't have your best players or good, talented, skilled players be a punching bag. That just doesn't work. And if guys think they can do it, they will do it. They will do it. As I said, unfairly, there's a lot of guys in the league that want to take shots at Jeremy and want to make him look bad. So you just got to defend yourself. That's the easiest way to put it. So again, this isn't MMA or UFC, but you got to let guys know you're not doing that. If you do it, I'm going to get you. I'm going to make you not want to do it again. Again, I've seen Kobe doing this over and over again. The way that Kobe has done this, a lot of times, in my opinion, over the years, is he will throw elbows at you. And he'll do it in very subtle ways, where it's hard to see that he's doing it. If he wants to get you off of him, or thinks you're trying to whatever, he'll hit you with an elbow and let you know you're not doing that. So, I don't know. It's just something, look, the good thing for Jeremy is Kobe's on his team. So Kobe can kind of help him out with that and teach him the tricks. So, it's good. But that really made me mad. Look, we all are sick of Jeremy looking like he's a little schoolboy and everybody else is a bully trying to mess with him. Whether it's this type of thing, the Bledsoe foul, or whether it's, he looks nervous. Take some initiative. And again, he's getting there, and this is not his personality. So it's not natural for him. It's more natural for certain people than it is for others. But this goes back to the whole confidence, aggressive, Kobe telling him, hey, wave me off, you do your thing. So keep working at it. And again, to be fair to Jeremy, he was in a situation in Houston where not only did his teammates not have his back, they were turning on him, right? And so that kind of, that gets in your head. If you know you got somebody on your team that's got your back, well, then you're going to stand up quicker. But if nobody's got your back, if nobody's there and is standing up for you to protect you, then you're a little more cautious. So it's going to take time. It's going to take time. And he's doing it. Look, he did what he needed to do. He got the better of Bledsoe in the exchange and in the game, because Bledsoe had to leave the game. That means Jeremy got him. But you just don't want guys taking cheap shots at you. You can't have that. You gotta, just like Kobe said, you gotta mark your territory. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you. And I'm gonna hit you harder so that you won't do that again. You won't even try to do that again. So that's how I said, look, that's my mentality. I'm a nice guy, but you hit me, I'm going to smack you good, and you're not going to do it again. I think Jeremy, hopefully he'll keep getting a little bit more of that as he goes along, and his confidence goes up, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now I made a note, and this is middle of the first. Jeremy's dribble looks tight early. It means it looks good. When your dribble is loose, it's not good. When dribble is tight, it's good. It means it's tight to your body. It's not exposed out there. And that's good to see. That's what we want to see from Jeremy. I made a note late in the first. It said, more bad Lakers pick and roll defense. So they really got to work at it. They know it. So it's frustrating to watch. It's like, it's coming. And they just look clueless. It's like they can't stop it. It's just over and over and over again. So they got to keep working at it. Okay. I made some notes here that Kobe was struggling some on defense. I also made some more notes about how Jeremy's defense was looking good, looking very good. And Jeremy had a very good first quarter of this game, I believe. And then he really also turned it on in the fourth quarter, which is what we know him to do. So that's good to see. That's exactly what we want to see. Okay, I'm just looking over here again of specific notes that I made. Like I said, I don't want to go over each and every one of this. This would be a 2-hour video. So I'm sorry for the gaps here, but I just have to kind of pick out while I'm doing the video which ones I'm actually going to discuss. Then late in the fourth quarter, so we're going forward here. Jeremy fell really hard on his tailbone, which means the backside of the hips, basically the area above where your butt is. And hopefully he's okay. That is a nasty place to get a bruise at. He and one of the Morris twins was going for the ball. It was a clean play. And they collided in the middle of the air, and Jeremy came down really hard on his tailbone. Hopefully he'll be all right. That is not a fun place to get hurt if you've ever had an injury there. But it was nice because the reason I don't know which Morris it was, they're twins, and I just don't remember which one it was, Markeith or Marcus. But it was nice because whoever it was, they came over and they checked on Jeremy. So that's kind of the opposite of Eric Bledsoe. Look, there are guys in the league that are cool, and there are guys in the league that are punks. And I'm not saying Eric Bledsoe's a punk, but, there's all versions and all different types of people in the league. And Eric Bledsoe's a very strong guy. He's not a tall guy, but he's a very powerfully built guy. So if he wants to hit you, he can hit you pretty hard. So again, like I said, you gotta watch that if guys are going to try to take cheap shots at you. Okay. Now, late in the fourth quarter, this is where Jeremy had his difficulties. The only other play in this game, and I mean this sincerely, the only other play in this game until this point in time that I thought was a bad play by Jeremy was he had a turnover, and I don't remember what quarter it was, where he dribbled it off his foot. And the reason why it happened was because he took his eye off the ball. Or actually, I mean, he wasn't looking at the ball. He became distracted for a quick moment, and that's when it happened. He was coming down the left side, like the left middle of the court, and he was looking over to his right because he wanted to see where a teammate was to try to make a pass. But in that instant, he lost focus on his dribble. The ball went off his foot, and it was a turnover. He had one other turnover in this game up until that point, and that was when he was called for a charge. He was called for a charge earlier in the game, and if you listen to the game on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, after they came back from commercial, they said it looked like somebody tripped JLin into the charge. And, you know, they got his legs tangled and he ran into the defender. So if he was tripped, it shouldn't have been a foul on Jeremy. And again, when you as an offensive player make a charge, you are credited with a foul and you're also credited with a turnover. So those were the only two turnovers of the game for him. One was bogus because I thought he got tripped, and the other one was where he lost concentration for a moment. The lost concentration was the only play of the game that I thought he did poorly until near the end of the fourth quarter. And okay, let's go over the couple plays here. Okay, first one. This was the play where he had the isolation one-on-one against Eric Bledsoe. He did the thing he often does, which is he stops his dribble. He does a pivot move, meaning he spins around, and then he shoots a fadeaway. He missed it badly. There are two things that I think happened on that play. Number one, he just rushed the shot. He didn't have enough confidence on the shot. He kind of hurried it a little bit. Number two, I think he wasn't decisive about what he wanted to do. And this is part of the thing with Kobe and dominating the offense. Jeremy's still kind of in defer mode. He's still kind of not totally comfortable taking over, particularly when Kobe's out there and Kobe's doing well in the fourth quarter. So it's not that he's still looking for other guys a little bit too much. And I think that's messing with his head. And I think that's what happened on that play. Now, I'm not saying he would have hit the shot, but the shot would have looked a lot better than what it looked like, I think, except Jeremy's he's still trying to settle in with that a little bit more. And just kind of, okay, look, this is my thing. I'm isolating. I'm going one-on-one. And I'm going to shoot with confidence. I think he was just a little bit, he's still working through that, which is what he basically told Serena Winters in practice the other day. And so people are, oh, that was so bad. I mean, it's nothing. It's a snapshot in time. It's nothing. I mean, it would have been great if it would have been a better shot and he would have hit it. But this is part of the process. I'm not surprised by it, and I'm not worried about it. This will go away. The same way that, oh my gosh, he shot 0 for 6 against Golden State. He sucks again. Well, that's gone. He just scored 18 points. Oh, but now he's inconsistent. He's in a new situation, and he's trying to learn how to play with Kobe, and he's trying to get over the Houston stuff. And he's trying to learn how to play with the personnel on the team. He is going to get past this. As I said, all he has to do is get past it one more time. And then it's over. So I'm I'm very happy with the way he played tonight. He played great. He really kicked it up a notch in the fourth quarter. And this is Mr. Fourth Quarter. He showed up big in the fourth quarter, and I don't remember exactly how many points he had, maybe 6, or he got it going. He's just working out the kinks right now. So, okay, that was the first of the 3 difficult plays, or 4, I guess you could consider. The last one, the game was already over, so that doesn't mean anything to me. Then, and all of this is late in the fourth quarter, so this is all with 4 minutes or fewer left in the game. So the one-on-one move against Eric Bledsoe, which was a bad miss. Then he came down on the right-hand side, and I think the shot clock was running down, I believe, and he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He clearly wanted to pass the ball to Kobe, I believe, but he couldn't because the defense was taking it away. So he ended up shooting the ball, and it was an air ball. Fortunately, Jordan Hill grabbed the ball and dunked it. But again, this was an indecision play. This isn't Jeremy sucks or he crumbles in the fourth quarter. It was Jeremy thinking, what should I do here? And he was thinking about it too much, which is, again, what I thought happened on the other play. That will go away with the teammates and the coach nurturing him and helping him beyond the Houston stuff and everything. It will go away. These aren't fatal flaws. This is just, again, it's a snapshot in time. What was the other thing here? Yeah, the last one was the game was already over. Phoenix had hit a three-pointer. The game was done. And then Jeremy, he passed the ball to Jordan Hill when he should have shot it. But this was literally with like 10 seconds left in the game. It wouldn't have any effect on the game. The truth was Jeremy should have shot the ball because at the end of the game, when you're behind, time is precious. You don't have time to make passes. Shoot it. So, yeah, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that happened here. But no, I think those were the 3 plays that people will criticize or point to, and we'll hear the nonsense, Jeremy's a choker, which is absolutely ridiculous given the way that he played in the rest of the fourth quarter. And he stepped it up huge. Yeah, I mean, let me see here. Believe he had 6 free throws in the fourth quarter, and he hit all of them. So he was very clutch. Again, this is a byproduct. This is a side effect of him trying to find his way on this team with Kobe and with the other guys. It will get better. And as it gets better, he'll be even better. His performances will get even better. What happened with Linsanity 1.0 in New York is that Jeremy wasn't thinking about anything. He was playing with guys off the bench mostly. Steve Novak, Jared Jeffries, Landry Fields. The only starter, I think, really being in the mix was Tyson Chandler. It was like there was nothing to think about. The team wasn't any good when the sanity began. Nothing was expected of Jeremy. The stars weren't around, so you didn't have to worry about them. You didn't have to worry about, should I pass to Melo? Should I pass to Amare? And so Jeremy just played, and it all worked like a symphony, and all the notes are correct. Right now, he's thinking about everything. Should I pass to Kobe? Should I be assertive at the end of the game after spending 2 years just giving the ball to Harden and getting out of the way? He's just trying to get beyond all this, and he will get beyond it. But as we talked about before with Jeremy, he's a very smart person, and a lot of times smart people think a lot. And sometimes they think too much. And He is somebody who has to feel settled in and comfortable to be at his best. And it's almost like you can tell how good the development of the team is by watching JLin. Because if the team chemistry and organization, like on offense, isn't good, then you'll probably see it first in somebody like Jeremy because of how much he thinks. And like I've told you before, LeBron's like this. They're smart. They want everything to work the way it's supposed to work. And if it's not, then like they don't function as well. So they need everything kind of nice and in order, and then they're at their best. But it takes time for that to develop. And it's not there yet. So this is why Jeremy's inconsistent right now. But it's going to get better. And just, again, ignore the people who want to put him down and just demand that he's always inconsistent and always will be. No, he won't be. No, he won't be. Just needs to get a little further out. Look, let me tell you guys, I'll tell you Lin fans this right now. There are people out there already saying it, and you've already heard it. They want Lin gone by the end of the year. And these are Lakers fans. I said, there's plenty of people that they don't like Lin for whatever reason. But it doesn't matter. The salary cap is almost certainly going to go up soon because of the new TV deals that were just signed. So there's more money coming into the league soon. And when the money comes in, the salary cap goes up. So he's going to be able to get, I don't know when that happens. I can't remember if it's next year or the year after. I don't remember. I think that it's probably going to be in Jeremy's best interest to stay in LA. Even if he takes less money, even if they don't guarantee that he's a starter, etc. I don't want any of those things to happen. I hope Jeremy gets a huge contract and they tell him he's absolutely going to be the starter no matter what. And so on and so forth. Jeremy needs to be in a city that's supportive, where he's comfortable at, and where he can stay. So he's not moving all the time. Like I said, Jeremy needs to settle in. If he's constantly on the move, it's not going to work. As I said, there are people who are not like that. People who, they're the same no matter where you go. They can move 10 times in a year, and they don't care. They're just going to come out and be aggressive. But Jeremy's not like that. So for him and his career and his progress, he needs to find a place and settle in. And I think LA is probably the best place for him to do that. And the good thing is, I think the Lakers feel the same way about him, which is why Jeannie Buss said, yeah, you should have always been here. They've always liked him. Always. When, as I've said, they're one of the first 3 or 4 teams that showed interest in him when he first came out of Harvard and that first summer league or whatever. The more that he has stability and consistency in his environment and support from an organization, the better he's going to do. So it's only a matter of time until then he won't be inconsistent anymore. It just needs to make good choices so that he's putting himself in the position where that can happen. And my opinion, LA is the place for that to happen. New York's a different thing now. New York's now, Phil Jackson's the president or general manager, whatever it is. They're playing a triangle offense. So that's a different thing. And Jim Dolan, that's never going to work, in my opinion. I mean, he could go to Brooklyn, I guess. In my opinion, there's only 3 markets in the NBA that Jeremy should play in or consider playing in. New York, LA, and San Francisco. Well, he already played for the Warriors, and he's not going to get a lot of playing time because Steph Curry's there. He's probably not going back to the Knicks. I don't know if Brooklyn's the right fit for him. I mean, it could be. Maybe. The Clippers, maybe, although he's not going to play much because Chris Paul's there. So if you look at the landscape of the NBA, I think the Lakers is the best place for him, at least right now. And honestly, probably for the foreseeable future. So I think there's a good chance Jeremy's going to be there going forward, one way or the other, even if everything isn't promised to him, even if the money isn't whatever. Look, Jeremy's already made a lot of money, and he's going to make a whole bunch of money for the rest of his life because of who he is and his skill set and his fan base. So he doesn't have to make a ton of money on a contract. Now, I know that in the NBA, your contract, that's how you get respect. I understand all that. And like I said, I'm not saying he's going to have to give up anything for a contract. He might have to give up anything. He might get paid more. But I think that he and his team, I think they understand this is a really good situation for him in a number of different ways. He's a California guy. He's got family and friends in the area. He loves the city. He likes living in Santa Monica. This is it. This is the right spot for him. So the more comfortable and the more acclimated to his environment he can be, the better he's going to play, in my opinion. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Just like the 0-6 is already over. This is going to get better and better. So if you're a Lin fan, don't worry about why didn't he play more minutes. Don't worry about Kobe shot 37 times. Just let it continue to build. That would be my advice. I said, look, I want a team to win. Of course. This is going to be a tough year for the Lakers, unfortunately. It's not even that they're not any good. It's that they've gotten a whole bunch of injuries already. And the Western Conference is really, really good. It looks even better than what people thought it was going to be. Phoenix looks better than we thought. I mean, the Sacramento Kings are 3-1. They look better than people thought. This is just... It's a very difficult situation. If the Lakers played in the Eastern Conference, they definitely could make the playoffs. No question. Or they certainly could contend for the playoffs. But this is the hand of cards that they've been dealt. So you make the best out of it. And for Jeremy, continue your personal development, which he is doing. And it's going to get better and better and better. Just hang in there. Tonight was a little preview. 18 points on, 8 shots. 9 of 10 free throws. This is the beginning. Not the end. It's just the beginning. So, I like it. I like it. As a JLin fan, I love it. As a Lakers fan, I accept it. This is where the team is. This is kind of what they are, particularly given all the injuries. So, okay, that is it for now. This video still ended up being longer. Man, it would have been 2 or 3 hours if I had done the full quarter by quarter. Your comments below. We will include information in the video description below the video player for video highlights, information about how you can come and follow us on Twitter, how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. Once again, I am PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert and the thug enforcer, at least in this video. That was fun. That just really made me mad. It's like I said, look, anybody that's listening to these videos, somebody like Ray, I know Ray, you played in college and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Anybody that's played any substantial amount of pickup ball or any type of organized ball, this happens all the time. And it's nonsense. It's annoying. I'm sick of people trying to mess with Jeremy. And so you just don't want to see it keep happening. But it'll get better. It'll get better. That just kind of It's like I said, that just brings up the enforcer instincts in me. So that's just my own thing. Again, thanks for watching us. It is currently 3:38 a.m. here on Wednesday, November 5th, 2014 on the East Coast of the United States, which means it is 3:38 p.m. on Wednesday, November 5th, 2014 in Taipei, Taiwan, in China, and in the Philippines. Grace Miller, if you get a chance to listen to this, I don't know if you're still listening. Probably a lot of people aren't. I got your emails. I appreciate it. I hope you're having really good travels, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. The person who does our translations or who did them, I hope everything's going well for you. I also need to respond to you in an email as well. Been thinking about you and hope everything's going well. It's a very exciting time for you and a very demanding time. I hope it's going well. I'm sure it's going well, and I'm eager to hear about everything. So it's good stuff. Okay, that's it. The next game will not take place for another 4 days, I believe. That's why Kobe played so many minutes tonight, as we said. So this game against Phoenix took place on Tuesday. The next game will not take place until Sunday. So they have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days off, which is, you very rarely will get 4 days off during the NBA season, except when it is the All-Star break. That game will take place on Sunday, November 9th in the United States, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 a.m. on Monday, November 10th in China, Taiwan, and the Philippines. And I was incorrect earlier to say that it's 12 hours ahead there. It's actually 13 hours ahead. I forgot because we just, here in the United States, we just moved our clocks back. We do daylight savings time, and I think we just got rid of that. So our things moved, although I don't think that they move in other parts of the world, I guess, because I know you guys are 13 hours ahead now rather than 12, which is what it was before we here in the United States shifted. So, looking forward to that game. Charlotte is a good team. They're an improved team. It should be a winnable game, the same way that tonight was a winnable game. Does that mean they're going to win? No. Just looking at Charlotte right now, they're 1-3. They're a beatable team. Hopefully, with the rest, hopefully Ryan Kelly will be able to play on Sunday. Hopefully that they can just look at the film, figure some things out. Now is not the time to start pointing fingers or giving up. Just keep working at it. Just keep working at it. So we'll be looking forward to that game. And again, hopefully the team will be able to get a win. Okay, that is it for now. I will try to get to the comments, get on Twitter when I can. Although it's pretty late. Pretty soon I'm going to go to bed. But I will talk to you guys soon. Take care, and we will see you again soon.